How has cell phone forensics, use of that data, changed the way Civil Air Patrol conducts its emergency services compared to maybe even 20 years ago?
A good question. The technology the short answer is it allows us to find people quicker. And by our ability to find people quicker, that means that we're able to save more lives. Back in the day, we would oftentimes have to wait until daylight to be able to get missions going, or perhaps the weather would not be conducive to the air sorties, or even getting the ground team in the field. But now, regardless, day or night, 24/7, whatever the weather may be, when the Air Force Rescue Coordination Center alerts our cell phone folks, they can start that analysis of the information, and they're able to find a person, get valid, accurate data on the person's location in a matter of minutes, getting rescuers to that individual, whether it's a lost hiker, a lost skier, a lost boater, or whatever the case may be, aircraft as well, so much quicker than what we were able to do before we had this technology.
How is the technology that Civil Air Patrol has adopted more accurate than what the cell providers themselves can use to identify or to locate a person?
Most every cell provider is able to offer what's called a ping, and that's a latitude and longitude, and it's only to a certain degree of accuracy as well. What our technology does, and this is innovative work by our volunteers to come up with the analytical tools by which to take all the type of data that's available and to compensate down to finding that very, very accurate picture. And so here's an example, here's a story to just illustrate it. Not in February of this year, not that long ago, there was a young man who was on a solo hike in the wintertime near Mount Evans in Colorado. And he got out there and he got in trouble, and he texted his roommate, said he was in trouble, and oh, by the way, he felt he was about 2 or 3 miles away from his car. And his car was located at the trailhead for the trail that he was on. So straight away, the authorities asked for the cell phone team to be activated, and they were able to use a feature not only with the raw data that comes in from the cell provider, but also they have what's called a communicator capability, to where they will send a text to the individual's phone and says, hey, hit this button, and it sends a signal back through the carrier, and the cell phone folks are able to go, bingo, that is exactly where he is. And it's GPS coordinates with an accuracy of plus or minus 8 meters. And so what they found was that this fellow was actually 6.5 miles away from his car, not 2 or 3 miles. And the rescuers were still en route. It was just within a matter of minutes, 16 minutes from notification to getting this information to the rescuers going, this is exactly where they went. Now, the feedback from the rescuers were, there is no way, we would have been looking in the wrong place, because that phone, that text, would have sent us just looking 2 or 3 miles away along that trail. Now we knew exactly where we needed to go. As a result, the individual was saved. He would not have survived the night in the wilderness, but because of the cell phone forensics team and their unique analytical skill to take that overall data that comes from a provider and neck it down to something that's plus or minus just a few meters, saves lives.
So how did Civil Air Patrol come to develop this within your organization? Where does the expertise come from?
We have individuals who are smart in the technology sector. And for the cell phone, there is this bright fellow by the name of Justin Ogden, who happens to have experience in telecommunications. And he's a technology smart guy. And he felt, there's got to be a better way for us to be able to find people, and relying upon his expertise with telecommunications and developing very strong relationships with all the cell providers to get what is really proprietary data from the different cell providers. He was able to develop these analytical tools that we put together and be able to use. You know, that's one example of the amazing ingenuity and innovation that we have with our folks within Civil Air Patrol. And it's another tool in our toolkit for us to be able to do search and rescue. They, along with their sister organization, the National Radar Analysis Team, who does a similar function using the radar data through air traffic control and other tools. Those are two technology innovations that our volunteers developed at no cost, just on their own initiative, that has fundamentally changed how search and rescue is done in the United States.